things still could change in the team rankings for 2024, and maybe Notre Dame could change that from a positive standpoint. Are they still chasing anybody in particular in that class?
Yeah, this is interesting, Darren. On Christmas Day, which is a day that I do not like to be working, so I wasn't really paying attention to this news, to be honest, but really started digging into the next couple days afterwards. But Kevin Humes from Baltimore St. Francis Academy reclassified from the 2025 class to 2024. So he was a high school junior, and he reclassified to now being a senior in college who can now sign in February. And it seems like he is eyeing 4 schools: Penn State, Notre Dame, Florida, and Syracuse. He was really liking Georgia. Then Georgia's DB coach, is it Fran Brown, I believe, became the head coach at Syracuse. So that has the Cuse very much involved. And those 4 programs I just mentioned, he set up official visits with. So Notre Dame has some extra spots available. I still think they're going to go after another receiver from the transfer portal. I think they're going to go get a safety from the transfer portal, maybe an offensive tackle. So they have some spots to fill for the 2024 roster. And Kevin Humes reclassifying, I'm told that Notre Dame sat down as a staff on Tuesday and decided, you know what, let's move after this young man. Let's take him as a part of the 2024 class. We know that they were looking at a guy like Caleb Beasley and Justin Scott and Carter Nelson, players at various positions. Of course, Beasley is a cornerback, and those players I just named did end up sticking with their respective schools and signed, but it did kind of tell us that they do have room for more. So Humes is someone that has visited Notre Dame twice this calendar year. He's going to be on campus at the end of January from what we've reported at Blue and Gold. So we'll see where it goes from there. If you made me guess right now where he's going to end up, I'd say Penn State, but he's going to take those trips. So again, I apologize if I misspoke, but it's Penn State, Notre Dame, Syracuse, and Florida. Those are the 4 schools he's going to take official visits with. And then so in mid-January, Darren, there's the dead period lifts, and then players can start taking official visits and the coaches hit the road and whatnot. So he can take trips until, I think it's February 7th. That's National Signing Day, and that's when he'll sign. So yeah, he can visit up to the 2nd, I think it is. And then the dead period resumes. So it would be really interesting to see if Notre Dame ends up taking Kevin Humes and is able to land him.
And it will be interesting to see if Notre Dame has interest in the Cal wide receiver Hunter, who is a very interesting player that's jumped into the portal this week.
Yeah, I heard that Notre Dame was interested, and he declared that he was going to be entering the portal, I feel like a week or so ago, and then he finally entered it yesterday, or was it Tuesday? So definitely going to be one to keep an eye on as well. Notre Dame is going to have transfer portal players on campus in January. Book it for sure.
All right, Mike, give us some Will Black news.
Yeah, so Notre Dame got a commitment the day after National Signing Day from Will Black. He is from Canada, currently attends Choate Rosemary Hall in Wallingford, Connecticut. On3 ranks him pretty highly right now as the number 202 overall player, number 14 offensive tackle. The rest of the industry sees him as a 3-star. And some chats I've had with some various kind of folks and sources is, it's not like, oh, he's Joe Alt, but there's a conversation of he kind of reminds us of Joe Alt kind of thing. Even if he just reminds you of Joe Alt a little bit, then I'll give me that. So there's no doubt about it. Oh, is he a tackle? Is he good? This is a tackle. He's a verified 6'7", 280 plus with I think it's like a 7-foot wingspan. He's got all the attributes of what you're looking for in a future offensive tackle for Notre Dame. I have a really good quote to read you, Darren, from On3 director of scouting and rankings, Charles Power. When he did an interview with me and spoke about Will Black, he said, he is out of central casting for a Notre Dame offensive tackle. They've had a lot of success with guys like this. Few, if any, do a better job evaluating these types of offensive linemen than Notre Dame. So that is high praise. So if you're saying like, oh yeah, he is the mold of Joe Alt and Mike McGlinchey and those big names, sign me up right away, 100%. And I love this, Darren. Grew up a Michigan fan. He was projected to go to Michigan until these reporters these days flip it at the last minute because they know they were wrong. Just drives me nuts. But he was projected to go to Michigan by multiple outlets, and he said this on the record. He was a Michigan fan. This was the same case with Cam Williams, the 5-star receiver who Notre Dame signed in the 2024 class. Grew up a Michigan fan. So I guess, the best Michigan fans end up going to Notre Dame. I say that as a half joke, but you do love to kind of see, Notre Dame, beating out Michigan. And he had offers from Penn State and Alabama. It was an impressive offer list. A really good young man to talk with. Great family. Nice pickup here for the Irish.
So I got to ask you, with the Sun Bowl tomorrow, you followed the recruitment for a long time of Steve Angeli. Now he gets his first start at Notre Dame. What are you kind of looking forward to tomorrow?
I had someone ask me today, like, Mike, are you looking forward to the Sun Bowl? And I was like, I haven't really thought about it. Mostly, it is what it is. Two players, though, I'm really looking forward to seeing. It's Steve Angeli and Charles Jagasaw. I mean, my people on the Notre Dame side of things are so excited about Charles Jagasaw.
Good.
We might be looking at, 3-year starter. Maybe if Notre Dame brings in a transfer tackle, maybe that's their left guy, and then maybe Charles swings over to the right side. I don't know. But if Charles Jagasaw is as good as those people think, then he might be like, redshirt freshman year, redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior year, or maybe even just a 2-year starter. Like, I don't know. Like, Charles Jagasaw, everyone's raving about as a draft pick, in a high one. Like that, the potential is sky high for Charles Jagasaw. And Darren, that young man, I enjoyed covering Charles Jagasaw's recruitment so much. Just an absolute gem of a human being. There was a picture from his home visit where like the local priest was there from like I think maybe he was from his school, and it was propped up on the piano was an issue of Blue and Gold Illustrated. So I mean, Charles Jagasaw just entered Steve Angeli, Joe Alt status for me right there. But I am super pumped as well to see Angeli. I don't know if he's ever going to start. This might be his only game he starts at Notre Dame. But I've said for a long time, I don't know if he's ever going to be the Notre Dame starter, but I think he's going to be someone's starter. He's going to be darn good. He's going to be better than these rankings indicate. With 24/7 rivals on 3 ranking him pretty low. ESPN always had him very high. But I think that this is going to be a good audition. Not for Notre Dame, because they got Riley Leonard for next year. And what does 2025 look like if he does stick around the season? I don't know. Different discussion for a different day. But, hey, if he does say, hey, I balled out in this game, I don't want to sit this year. And, I know there's going to be some big time Power 5s maybe that would be interested in me. I just think this is a really good audition for him. And I think it's going to be a really good game for him. I think that when you look at Notre Dame's offense in this game, you don't have Mitchell Evans. Your receiver core, even when it was super healthy, wasn't even that great. But where is Notre Dame? And you lose your tackles. Where is Notre Dame very good? At running back still without Estime, and on the interior of the offensive line. Don't be surprised if Notre Dame really goes run, play action with Steve Angeli, kind of as a pro-style quarterback who's going to hand the ball off and then, carve a defense up and play action. So I think that would suit him well in his skill set. But even drop back 10 personnel, I think Steve is going to have a good game. I'm really excited for the Sun Bowl. Just really seeing him and Jagasaw.
Mike, would you agree that Emil Wagner has tremendous upside at a tackle spot, but right now he's still in that strength and conditioning mode, getting bigger, that this is probably going to be a huge offseason for him?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I haven't seen Wagner with my own 2 eyes in a while. But yeah, I would agree with that, Darren.
What's happening at Blue and Gold Illustrated, blueandgold.com?
A lot, Darren. I mean, still kind of wrapping up signing day content to put a bow on the 2024 class. And then, yeah, maybe Notre Dame's even going to add more players, what the portal looks like, this Kevin Humes prospect. So we're writing about a lot. Sun Bowl coverage. There's really no days off at Blue and Gold. So if you're a Notre Dame junkie and you just cannot get enough of Notre Dame football coverage, go to blueandgold.com. We always have a cool offer. I think right now for our audiences, Darren, code UND1 gets you 2 months of access for just $1. So I know you probably can afford that, folks. $1 for 2 months of access, and then you can cancel if you don't like it. But I think you will. So please check that out, blueandgold.com.